Good day, my name is Riflemi Simpatan. I am with Penyo, Tulakanya, Tata, Eunice, and Angel. We will be taking you through the various stages of research writing.
1.
This is the order of how we will conduct our research. The various stages of research writing. These are the necessary precautions a researcher has to take in order to come up with a complete research. We will discuss the stages of research writing in a particular order, beginning with the topic, which is the main focus of the research. To acquire a topic, methods like brainstorming and observation can be used. The topic is a critical part of the research as it gives an idea of what the research is about. Often, the topic is a problem that a researcher is trying to find solutions to. A phenomenal topic should be focused, researchable, and keyword-rich.
An introduction is a brief summary of what a research is all about. It provides the background information and briefly evaluates the necessary steps taken to a conclusion. An introduction should include the context to discuss and the coursework, the significance of the coursework, and illuminates value and relation. As we move on to the research problem. A research problem is a clear gap of an ideal issue or a problem that needs investigations. It defines or highlights the issue that the research aims to address. By adopting this method, researchers can develop more compact, focused, impactful problem statements that drive their work forward. This practical guide not only demystifies the process of writing a research problem statement, but it also offers modernized and improved approach to ensure clarity and precision in scholar research.
Objectives. Objectives are the questions that the research should answer. Goals of the research that gives a clear picture of what the research is about. Objectives should be specific, measurable, realistic, and concise. Then we'll be moving on to another stage, which is the hypothesis. This is the expected outcome and the relationship between two variables. A hypothesis allows researchers to test their capabilities and see if they are able to predict something viable on their own. And sets a clear path for the research. It also narrows the scope of the research to identify the correct focus. A hypothesis provides the basis for making conclusions and recommendations. It also creates the research process framework.
A literature review. A literature review is a summary or an analysis of existing information in regards to a specific topic. Now, if we take a closer look at this information, we can define a literature review as a research methodology that collects, evaluates, and synthesizes existing studies to give an overview of what is or isn't known about a particular topic. Furthermore, it aids researchers in understanding theoretical foundations, identify trends, as well as highlight gaps, research gaps that can pave a path for future studies. And it does so by summarizing as well as thoroughly examining preceding work. A literature review ensures that new research is based on established knowledge, avoids duplication, and contributes to advancing academic and practical understanding. To cut a long story short, a literature review is essentially reviewing and comparing ideas, theories, as well as findings from previous authors in order to establish a solid foundation or a solid background for research.
Moving forward, we are going to discuss about the research design. Basically, a research design is a systematic plan of how the research will be carried out, which may be effective and ethical. It usually determines the information that is to be collected, that is to be analyzed, and how it will be collected. A research design further discusses more on the choices of the research method depending on the research objective, the nature of the research questions, and the specific content that is to be conducted through the study. It usually integrates information differently, which may be logical and coherent, and ensures that the research problem is effectively addressed.
Discussion. This is a stage where analyzing and interpretation of the findings related to the research problem and the literature review takes place. It demonstrates the understanding of the research findings through critical thinking. For more information, critical thinking is the ability to actively and objectively evaluate information to form a research judgment or decision. Furthermore, the main findings of your research should be listed at the beginning of the discussion. It should explain the meaning of your results from the research findings. You should describe research method, collect data, analyze them, and then obtain results. It includes an evaluation and interpretation of the results, as well as the difference between them and your return hypothesis stated on the research.
Moving on to the conclusion. Now, a conclusion is a brief summary of the main findings that reflects the ending of the research. It highlights the purpose of the research. By purpose, I mean it highlights what the whole point of your research is. Why is it significant? Why is it relevant? Clear, concise, focused. These are the three characteristics that make up what we can call an exceptional conclusion. The key elements of a conclusion should include the main findings and result interpretations, implications, and limitations. And as for the recommendation, I will hand over to my colleague.
Moving forward to recommendation. Recommendation is basically the research purposes, specification, and strategies of an area of further investigation based on the study of the findings. Basically, when you give a recommendation, you state it basically looking towards the findings you have collected during the research collection method. So, basically, in the recommendation, you also provide actionable insights that other researchers can use to improve the practices and outcome. When you recommend, basically, you say what should be done to improve the research, as it has been stated here. This aims to influence the policymakers by suggesting the changes of information by researchers' evidence that is being cited by one of the previous authors here. Thank you.